Hello and welcome to Bitsbox World, builds made easy. Well, I'm super excited about this. I've been having a real good go at using Sprue Goo and seeing what I can do with it. But first off, I need to get some more sprue. So I've got some guys to build here. Going to quickly build them up and then get the sprues in the jar, get them all melted down. And I've got an awesome idea of what I can create. So first off, clipping all of the pieces out, building my models, and then taking the empty sprues, processing them so they get all nice and small, and then sticking them in the jar, and then leaving it to melt down. So the sprues do take about 24 hours, I think, to go to a really nice consistency. So I tend to leave it overnight, and then it's workable the next day. With this, as always, use some gloves when you're going to be handling the Sprue Goo. And this is what I've previously done. So go and check out that video of how I made my Sprue Goo and what I tested with that. So I rolled it out. I made it nice and flat and used a textured roller to roll it and make a sort of cobbled effect. But I've got another idea. Lots of people have been commenting on my other videos. Thank you so much for the support. And do make sure when you're using this Sprue Goo that you have a well ventilated area, because it's quite potent, quite strong. But I bought this stonework silicone mould. This is from Green Stuff World. And let's have a look at what this looks like. I'm really loving the stuff I get from Green Stuff World. Not sponsored by them at all, but really liking the products that they make and really loving the dipping inks. So I thought, they're good quality, let's see what these molds are like. And this one is for like a stone wall effect or house, and you can make sort of a chapel maybe, something like that. And I thought that would be really good for my old world builds or Dungeons and Dragons, or maybe something like Warhammer Quest as well. So let's get these silicones out. You get 3 in the packet. And they look really decent. They are quite hardy and have multiple pieces on them. The instructions tells you what you can make from those multiple pieces. And I'm really hoping that my Sprue Goo will just push into these and take on the texture of those molds. So we'll see how it works. But I've got building, I've got a bit of a roof section and a floor section as well, so really excited about these. But let's start off by getting the walls done. So opening up my Sprue Goo, using a spoon to get it out, because I've noticed that a metal spoon, the goo doesn't stick to it like it does plastics or on your hand. So getting it out with a metal spoon, and then as the goo hits the air, the acetone that I've used, it starts to evaporate and it makes it less sticky and more rubbery, more like Play-Doh or something like that. So yeah, you want to let it hit the air a little bit and expose all of the goo to the air for sort of 10 seconds, 15 seconds. And I've noticed that if I just keep turning it over, it just lets all that acetone evaporate, and then you end up with this nice rubbery stuff left from your sprues that have melted down into this awesome goo. And you can roll that out and you can squidge it out so it goes nice and flat. And that's where I was using the textured roller up until this point. But it tears nicely at this point and it won't stick to my hand, so I can get a nice piece there, big enough for going into my mould. With the mould then, what I did was I pushed it into all of the angles. I pushed it all down, making sure that I had fitted it all into every area of that mould. Now this does on occasion put air bubbles in it, so you just want to push around until those air bubbles kind of pop out and disappear, and then make sure that it fills all of the edges within the mould. That was my theory anyway. So this one's still a bit gooey, but yeah, just giving it a bit more of exposure to the air and pushing it in. I'm really excited to see how this comes out, because essentially if I can build this house, if I can get this wall, I can just duplicate this process over and over and over and over, and then I've got endless amounts of buildings that I can get for free using my sprues to recycle. And it also gives me options to get other molds as well, decent molds. And I've been looking on Amazon to see if there's anything on there that I could use as as a good mold. There was some decent stuff on there, like gravestones recently, if you wanted to do sort of a vampire effect or a grave or a ghoul or zombie effect. But that's all I've seen really, unless you go to a specialist place like Green Stuff World, and then you can get these specialist molds. I assume they're for resin, which you could use in there, or clay. But let's see if the Sprue Goo is a good alternative. So all pushed in and all rolled out of the back as well. I just went over it with a roller just to flatten it out a little bit, so it fitted in nicely. And then with the remaining bits of goo, I've just chucked some into the roof tile section as well and pressed it down with the spoon. Right, let that dry. So again, I'm going to let that dry overnight and then just see what it looks like. So you ready? Really excited. Obviously the back just looks a bit gooey, doesn't look great. So we just have to hope that the front comes out awesome, and then once it's all glued together you won't see the back. As I say, the molds look really cool, and I'm really impressed with the quality of them from Green Stuff World. Really think they look decent, and definitely will be getting some more. They've got some sci-fi ones over there as well, and look how these have come out. Wow, 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 that is awesome. And with these you can just cut them up if you've kind of got any that are stuck together, and then it just becomes like flash when you're removing that from your models. So I just take off the edges of that flash and make them nice and neat. But they come out, they're looking really, really cool. Why don't you let me know in the comments below, do you like the look of these? Do you think this is a really good viable option, or have you got any ideas that could be better? And if you haven't up until this point, why not like the video and please subscribe? I've been really humbled recently. The amount of people that have been subscribing has been awesome. So thank you everybody that's new, and thank you for those that take the time to join me on this quest to just make modelling accessible for everybody. These ones here with the windows, so they've got these extra sections inside which are sort of just blocks. So that's if you're building a wall, you can have, once you glue it all together, different heights on that wall. So a bit like a castle where they've got the high bits and the low bits. But I'm just cleaning up the flash in the windowed area as well. And yeah, it comes off so easily, just like when I'm cleaning up the flash on some of my models. And I think they look really, really cool. The bit that I was really worried about with these was that there would be air bubbles trapped in, and then you'd end up with lots of holes within the mould. But it looks really decent. Looks really, really good. Actually much better than I thought it was going to look, actually. And this doorway here, that could be perfect for Warhammer Quest. Could use that for some replacement doors. And then, as you can see, I've been busy and I made loads of these over the last few days. And I just wanted to highlight the quality. It definitely, if you push it in and take the time to make sure that it fits the mould well when you're doing it, you get a really good effect on these. And you can see that they look store-bought almost. Some of these, the one in the middle there has got a few bits and bobs of holes in it, and that's just from the air bubbles. And like the one on the left there at the top, slightly less of the mould was taken on, so I just need to make sure that I pressed it down well. The roof tiles look really decent, so really liking those. And then got these pillars as well, so that's for making this into a building, which I might do. I'll put it together on another video and paint it up, and then you can let me know your thoughts on that. But really happy with how these have turned out, and I won't be needing to buy any buildings for a long time, I don't think, just recycling my sprues. But thanks for joining me today on the video, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching Bitsbox World, builds made easy.